So before we get into Miss Tax the Rich and her insanity, I just have a question. And a lot of people are, talking about her wearing the dress at a big fancy event, but I don't know what the fuck the Met Gala is. Okay, I just hear it's like, oh, AOC wore a dress at the Met Gala, and oh, there's a bunch of weird stuff that happened there. What the fuck is a Met Gala? Okay, so we'll give you some background here. Maybe I'm just the fucking idiot in the room here, but I kind of want to know what the fuck this thing is before we start criticizing it. I think that's fair, right? 2021 Met Gala. This is from Vogue, and I never thought that I'd ever be opening up a video, especially on this channel, that came from Vogue, but 2021 is proving to be quite a worthy successor to the insanity of 2020, even though this is on a much smaller scale. But hey, we got to get into this degeneracy somehow. It is set to occur in a smaller, more intimate affair on September 13th. Boy, I really hope everybody's taking the proper precautions and they aren't, kind of lording their status over all of the help that's around. That would sure look hypocritical. Anyways, it will celebrate the Costume Institute's two-part exhibition to be presented over the course of 2021-2022. Oh, boy. I'll wait with bated breath to see what idiocy comes out of that. In the two eras of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Okay, cool. Part 1, in America, a lexicon of fashion. I'm not going insane. Bring up the definition of lexicon. It is in reference to your linguistic vocabulary. So I guess they're just trying to make a statement with their awful, tattered, disastrous dress in order to tell the story of America. Okay. Again, these are these elites that would unironically parrot the talking points of Marie Antoinette, but okay. They will open in the Anna Wintour. I don't care what this. I don't care. They're just making up shit. And then next year it's going to be in America, an anthology on fashion. Oh boy, I hope somebody shows up in chains. That would be just so stunning and brave. So what is the Met Gala? It is the Super Bowl of fashion. Oh, okay. Just with fewer gays. On the first Monday in May, anyone comes to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Oh, okay, so it literally is just the elites and their friends getting together to have a rather pricey dinner or stand around, or I don't know what they do there. That's what just baffles me. It's like, okay, you're going to get together. Are you guys going to accomplish anything, or what the fuck is the stated goal of this? It's an annual fundraising gala. Ugh, God, that just sounds like total fucking ass cancer. Fundraising gala celebrating the Costume Institute's magnificent new exhibition on a changing theme. Yeah, it really sounds like they're going to be doing some really daring things. It all started in 1946. Yeah, after all of the designers got wrapped up with the Nazi Party. And over the decades, it has become a grand affair. Yeah, sure. Who gets invited to the Met Gala? The world's best achievers in all spheres of music, film, Broadway, fashion, as well as simple supernova personalities. Oh, somebody's trying to meet a fucking word limit. The list changes each year. My favorite guests were Diana Ross. Wow. Was this written by somebody of a certain demographic? Just wondering. But okay, so it's a big fashion show that celebrities attend. I'm already just got like a tenuous grasp on how much I care about this. So, okay, everybody and their mother is talking about this, and I'm seeing a lot of just, boilerplate takes on it. It's like, oh, look at how hypocritical she is for wearing tax rich at a rich event. That shows that she's a hypocrite. Did you really need this event to show you that AOC is really just a fucking puppet? Like, she must be on the spectrum because she has no fucking shame, and she continues to do this dumb shit over and over and over and over again, and continuously gets the praise for it because she knows exactly what she's doing. She just doesn't ever cop to it. She just uses it as an excuse as, oh, people are attacking me for trying to make a statement. And it's like, you're so dumb. You don't even get it. Self-proclaimed socialist representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed early Tuesday that it was her responsibility to attend the Met Gala. Why? She was roundly ripped for wearing a couture tax the rich dress to an elite bash. Yes, where tickets cost at least $30,000. But that's alright. She got an immigrant to come up with this fucking stunning and brave design, tax the rich, on the back. Yeah, no, she got an immigrant to design this and make her look like she actually has an ass. But you know where that designer emigrated from? The far-off distant land of Toronto. Anyways, the maskless Ocasio-Cortez, you're going to find that being a very consistent theme, turned heads as she joined other left-wing leaders like, Mayor Bill de Blasio at the exclusive New York bash late Monday, passing by a Black Lives Matter protest against the event taking place outside. Oh, I'm sure they paid them lip service. Yes, I'm totally with you, by the way. She just, oh my God, please shuffle them off. They're scaring us. She justified wearing the dress by New York-based Aurora James, who she hailed as a sustainably focused black woman immigrant designer, claiming they were there to kick open the doors at the Met. God, you're dim. Just words. These are just words. They don't mean anything. And before haters get wild, flying off the handle, New York elected officials are routinely invited to and attend the Met due to our responsibilities and... I don't care. I really don't care, okay? But what else? Well, like in true socialist fashion, she went there. I'm sure she didn't pay the $30,000 to get in. Somebody paid it for her. I don't know. Just take a look at the shit that she's done in the past with campaign finance. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't necessarily her. It was just somebody who is in control of the purse strings for her campaign and their dirty dealings. I'm pretty sure we've covered that on the channel before, but you know what? It's not necessarily her, but how many times do you have to be affiliated with people who are corrupt in order to say that maybe it's not just everybody else around you that's corrupt? Maybe you're a product of your circumstances and your surroundings. Anyways, but yes, like a true socialist, she went to an event that she, more than likely got in for free because redistribution of wealth, obviously. And she got some free stuff there as well because socialism, right? Yes, she's one of you people. She's one of the very helpful elites that are out there, you know. She's one of you. She's a self-proclaimed one of the working class, you know, Alexandria from the block, if you will. Oh, she's getting into the celebrity gifting game. She got free jewelry to wear at the Met Gala with her tax-the-rich dress. Self-proclaimed socialist AOC wore multiple pieces of jewelry brand Missouri, I've never heard of that, on Monday night, including 14-karat solid gold hoop earrings valued at $450. Oh, so she cheaped out on her gold earrings? Okay, I've seen way more expensive ones. Oh, while her earrings are certainly less expensive than many of the other jewels loaned out to the Met Gala celebs. Oh, okay. I guess I should be writing for the New York Post. Such as Hailey Bieber's Tiffany. I don't care what these fucking goofs wear. Jesus Christ. Press release set out by Missouri on Monday night, which read, AO3 wore multiple pieces from the leading fine jewelry brand. You can't be that leading if I haven't heard of you, okay? But yes, all you're seeing right now is that, yes, tickets cost $30,000 or maybe even $35,000 for her to enjoy herself and make a statement, obviously, because you're just pandering to fellow rich people as well, and they're all just going, you're so stunning and brave. Congratulations on your wonderful piece. Oh, yes. You go after those 1%, right? She added that the dress was borrowed from Brother Vallely's. I don't know what that is, even though it appears to have been made bespoke for her. Yeah, because nobody else would have the audacity to wear something this fucking audacious. Literally, you're surrounded by millionaires and billionaires. So what are you trying to accomplish there, okay? Tax the rich, right? We'll just take that statement on its face value, okay? Because that she's kind of adopted it as her slogan, I guess. I don't know what's more offensive, her flat ass or bug eyes, so we'll just leave it somewhere in the middle. The fact remains that tax the rich, she has on sweatshirts, T-shirts, leggings, and whatever other fucking stupid shit she can peddle and get idiots to pay inflated prices for. But, oh, none of it's for profit, and it all stays within the company in order to pay the company. Sure it does, sweetheart. What exactly does that statement mean? Okay, tax. Okay, everybody's taxed, unless you're an illegal immigrant, which you're totally fine with, by the way. So, okay, everybody's taxed. We don't need to get into the esoteric meanings of the word "the," but rich. Okay, what do you define as rich? Because you make $174,000 a year. Now, okay, you might say, okay, she lives in New York and needs to have an office in Washington D.C., so $174,000. That may not go very far, but 174 in New York is a hell of a lot different than in Nebraska, than it is in Texas, than it is in different cities in Texas. What exactly do you mean? Okay, if you want to accomplish something, tax the rich. What do you mean by tax, and what do you mean by rich? How much is a fair share? Something else that you love to trumpet all the time, okay? Is it 25%? Okay, anything less than that is not fair. Not everybody's paying their fair share, okay? Is 24.9% not enough? It's almost 25. Is 50%? Is it eventually 60? Like, what are you going to define your terms, or are you just going to go ahead and put 11 letters across your back, which is coincidentally how you got that job to begin with, is by having shit strewn across your back? Or are you just trying to do this in order to generate buzz and get fucking headlines? But this is why I've got to give her, I don't want to say I give her credit, but she's well aware of what she's doing, okay? Because this came out, last night or something? This is a statement directly from AOC. Okay, so this is in response to this question. Loved your dress, but what do you want to say to critics for attending the Met Gala? People with their basic bitch takes of, she's a hypocrite. You don't really need to say that much, but she knew exactly what she was doing, okay? And she's got her statement here, which was posted to Instagram, and I don't use that Zuckerberg fucking tracking app, so it's bad enough you got it on Twitter here, but let's take a stab at this. Either we get to the end of this, or I take a stab at my neck. I thought about the criticism I'd get, but honestly, and my body, I and my body, okay, that makes a little bit more sense, but that's just awkward wording, have been so heavily and relentlessly policed from all corners politically since the moment I won the election. Me. Okay, cool. That it's kind of become expected and normalized to me. So she knows that she is using herself to promote her ideology. Okay, very important to note that. The irony is that when women in power take the prospect of criticism to be cautious in their actions, you could go ahead and strike out women, because everybody who is in the public eye at a certain level has to understand that their actions will be interpreted by everybody from all corners. So you're not special in this one, and it's especially not because you have a pair of tits and a uterus. Let's be completely fucking clear on this. They are then criticized for being inauthentic and too calculated. Okay, see how quickly those two very obvious pieces of criticism were at the front of her mind, and how quickly she got in front of it? Obviously, you can't criticize her because she's a woman. She just wants to stand up, and you need to believe all women. You can't silence minority voices, which she's obviously going to get to in a minute. But just because something might be inauthentic or it might be calculated, you can't say that because women's. Ultimately, the haters hated, and that you wanted that. That was the exact express purpose of that, because they couldn't come up to you and say that, because I'm sure that there was a whole host of armed guards that were around there that were making sure that this elitist ball per se was well taken care of and well secured. But more on your security detail in a moment, because that's a very cute little detail to just add on top of this. Just to finish up that sentence. Ultimately, the haters hated, and the people who are thoughtful were thoughtful. Very insightful. You should probably put that on a Hallmark card. While it's just, that's deep, man. I really need a moment to pause and reflect on that. But we all had a conversation about taxing the rich in front of the very people who lobby against it. The rich? Oh, okay. That's weird. And punctured the fourth wall of excess and spectacle by... Okay. See, okay, this is why she's not bright, okay? People say, she's a very calculated tactician. Whoever's running her, okay, whoever's fucking pulling the strings on this one, she has like a 90 IQ. She fucking gets enough of this stuff. Like, climate change is bad. Can you quantify any of that? No, I can't. I've got an economics degree. No, you don't. You're right, I don't. If you're not bright enough to think that all of those conversations you were having with the right people weren't just falling on deaf ears, not just because you have an annoying voice to listen to, but it's because those people here, I'm going to give you a little inside treat, okay? If there are new taxes that are out there, the rich can just hire the good accountants, and it doesn't affect them whatsoever, because in those tax laws are loopholes, okay? And they are little tax breaks that big corporations get and rich and powerful people get that can let them circumvent it. So it's the people who are just trying to break into that next tax bracket, the ones who are just on the cusp of being maybe what you'd call rich. We don't know what you consider rich. Probably just whoever makes more than you. It'll fuck them hard. But your friends, the ones that you were around, the very people that you think are lobbying against this, they don't care. It might just be another zero on how much they pay their accountant. But at the end of the day, that additional fucking little tip that they give their financial team is going to pale in comparison to the taxes that you want to impose because you think that you can spend my money better than I can. Bet. Honestly, our culture, here's the victim card. Here's the victim card hard. Honestly, our culture is deeply disdainful and unsupportive of women, especially women of color and working class women. Can you quantify any of that? Don't you think that maybe this is just a class problem and you don't realize that you are no longer the bartender that you like to trumpet yourself as being? Yeah, no, it'd be hating itself some women, I guess. Apparently, her warped perception of reality. Whether it's a lack of child care support, stop fucking people and letting them squirt up in you, okay? That's how you get rid of the child care problem. Or especially reserving pillory for elected women and femme people. Oh, you're just making up words now. The more intersections one has, the deeper the disdain. You go fuck yourself. The only intersection I want to see you at is the one where there's rush hour traffic. I am so we should probably count the I's and me's in here. I am used to doing the same exact thing that men do. About 10% of the population, including popular male progressive elected officials. Can you point to any popular male progressive elected officials? I don't know. They aren't even popular with their own base. You want to point at Ted Wheeler? He gets chased out and punched in the face by everybody. Actually, no, to be fair, there aren't any right-wingers left in Portland, so it's just the fucking left-wing lunatics that continue to punch and burn down his fucking apartment building. Or at least try to, let's be accurate, I guess. Oh yes, but they get completely different responses. I don't know who you're talking about here. Popular male progressives, okay? They say stupid shit. You call them out, okay? Manchin thinks that he's the most important man in politics right now because he holds the sway vote in the Senate. I call him out as being retarded. And then whenever AOC does something just overwhelmingly egregious, I call her out for being retarded and having bug eyes, okay? Joe Manchin is a closet Republican. He just doesn't know it yet, okay? I think is it a wash? But no. Victim card, okay? It's always worse. Women most affected. Because she gets a completely different response, okay? Yes, because Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt probably doesn't look as good in a dress as you do, sweetheart. I get it. So all I can do is acknowledge that reality and make the decisions as I am and as I grow throughout my life. I'm still a work in progress, people, even though I'm a two-term whatever. Fuck off. For example, did you know many elected officials regularly attend due to our responsibilities in keeping cultural institutions accessible to the public? How many other elected officials were at the Met Gala? Couldn't find any. That I was one of many yesterday. No, I didn't know that at all. I thought you were the only one who got photographed there, so I don't know. Did you know that if you live in the New York City area, you can go to the Met, including the same costume exhibit the wealthy saw last night? Ooh, definitely not putting you on a higher pedestal. You should work on your wording, I guess. Somebody else didn't proofread this for you. For as little dollars as you'd like. No, it's 30, 33, 30, 35, somewhere between there per plate in order to show up. Otherwise you get turned around and you get chased off like Black Lives Matter by the Democrats for 3.5 years. So that's just a lie. What else do you expect? Check it out this weekend because the Met belongs to the people. Except last night. That's for the rich and famous. But no, stupid wasn't the only one there, right? AOC, we've seen her, but let's just see these other very well-adjusted, very healthy-looking individuals. Like, there's the professional kneeler. Oh, right, she's a soccer player, I think. Yeah, Megan Rapinoe. There we go. She was there, taking time out of her busy schedule of being an activist to be an activist at an expensive event, looking like, I don't know, Ellen DeGeneres fucked Barney. Like, it's really unimpressive and just bags under the eyes, and I don't know, just limp-wristed. But then again, you're probably weak from your cocktail of drugs, so you need to, I don't know, just very gingerly hold up your tiny purse. And there's another healthy looking person. I don't know who this is. I'm glad I don't know who this is, but the eyeshadow's not doing you any favors, and the wet hair and the pig the patriarchy. Ooh, yes, the same thing that got you to that place. But yes, okay, of course, whatever. Again, let's define what the patriarchy is. And then, yes, once again, so you got stupid in her dress from a different angle, I guess, so you can definitely see that it does say tax the rich. Whatever, I don't really care. And then just somebody who has absolute dead eyes standing next to her. I don't know who these people are. I really don't, and I don't think it's terribly important either. And then you have this broad, some old decrepit thing with a era, yes, tambourine. I don't know what the fuck she's holding. And then she's got streamers, like she just showed up from a Ring of Honor event. Like she's got streamers coming down from all sides of her, and it says equal rights for women. Okay, Granny, which rights don't women have? I don't get it. Like equal rights, huh? Like the draft? Oh, okay. I bet that's probably a touchy subject, but you can kind of see it in the back there, but. And then just, yeah, with all of the celebrities, I guess, you can see that they're not wearing masks, okay? But yes, everybody in the press corps, like this dude's, I don't know, just trying to catcall this old broad, and everybody else has their mask on. And I'm sure everybody there has probably received both pokes, so rules for thee and not for me. Is that what we're seeing here? Because that's definitely what we're seeing here with some actually like really attractive, I think, I don't know, they're all dressed up like fucking American Taliban is running the New York City. I'd assume they're attractive enough to be there, but hey, they don't have a big enough platform, and I'm sure that they're really, happy the rich people are talking about taxing the rich as well. But let's get off that disaster. Now let's talk about some legitimate hypocrisy, okay? Because yeah, I don't care that AOC thinks that she's making a statement by showing up in a tax the rich dress, because she's just going to continue to kick that one down the road forever and ever, because it'll never be high enough tax, and then the threshold for being rich will just magically be just a little bit more than whatever she has. Just go figure, right? It's like when Joe Biden said nobody above $400,000 a year is going to be paying more in taxes under my tax plan. And it's like, well, how much does Joe Biden make for being the president? $400,000. Very, very convenient placing you have there, Joe. Defund the police squad members are biggest spenders on private security. Wow. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch, huh? It's a tight race among defund the police Democrats in this year's Chutzpah Olympics, but New York Representative AOC and other House members of the squad are well positioned to take home the gold, fully embracing the politics of good for thee but not for me. AOC, Minnesota's Elan Brotherfucker Omar, Massachusetts bald-headed Ayanna Pressley, and the newest squad member Corey, actually worse than W. Bush, are among the most vocal advocates for defunding, while also being, according to Federal Election Commission reports, among the biggest spenders on personal security. Oh my God! All these legislators supported the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Ugh, that sounds like cancer. Which passed the House last summer, but has stalled in the Senate, because obviously it would. Pressley has also sponsored the Breathe Act. I don't know, you probably should, it's fairly important, but oh no, not if it's a piece of government legislation. That's silly. A bill supported by Black Lives Matter leaders. Okay, then it is tantamount to idiocy. I believe the Floyd Act doesn't go far enough. Yes, I'm sure. The Breathe Act, which calls for the total elimination of federal law enforcement agencies. That's a good look. Never forget that. Particularly those assigned to curtail illegal drugs and immigration activities. Yes, and human trafficking. So guess what? Ayanna Pressley loves human trafficking. She is a supporter of human trafficking. Would initially apply only to the federal level, but would ultimately affect state and local policing in those areas as well. Yeah, because you take out the Fed workers and you have to replace them with state workers, which puts a strain on the local and state levels, so that makes sense. That's just an easy extrapolation to make. With squad support, Pressley has sponsored the reintroduced ending qualified immunity. I don't care. Let's just get to the fucking numbers. Yeah, despite their rhetoric and legislative proposals, squad members are relying on private security security. No! Or, in case the SWAT's male member, who's this turbo cuck, New York Representative Jamal Bowman. Was he down there at the Met Gala? Because he's a New York representative, and AOC's told us all that it's very important that you be there. Anyways, local police to provide the protection that they would deny their own constituents. No shit. Oh my God. In the 2 months between April 15th and June 28th, Bush spent nearly $70,000 on her campaign funds on personal security. Why? She's from the St. Louis area. Like, it's a pretty dangerous place, but $70,000 over the course of 2 months is very interesting. Most of any House lawmaker. Wow. You think that she'd be doing important stuff for her constituents. That's almost $20,000 above the median household incomes of residents in her district. Yeah, but it's important because she's somebody special. She's one of the elites. She's here for you. Bush, who often wears a Black Lives Matter or y'all gone stop killing us. They ain't referring to books, that's for certain. T-shirt says she believes defunding the police would prevent the deaths of people like Michael Brown and Breonna Taylor. She reads good. Reads very good, but it's unclear who would stop the killing, and that would then ensue. Yeah, exactly. Of the 130 homicide victims in St. Louis so far this year, half of whom residents are African American, but all 10 victims were African Americans. Oh, all but 10, my mistake. It's like, why would that be a stat that you want to bring up in your article? 98 men and 22 women. The vast majority of those involved firearms, not one fired by a police officer. Yeah, but get rid of the police because they be killing us out in these streets. Sure. Question about her personal security expenditures. We went over this. Her lovely face is on the thumbnail if you're looking for it. Bush described herself as a black woman who puts her life on the line. Like, I could assume that she's diabetic, but I didn't really know, and thanks for confirming that. Claiming that white supremacists, there we go, that's been a minute, including cops, have made threats and racist attempts on her life. I don't think they could find a strong enough oak tree around the Capitol building, so I think you're safe. And that her body is worth being on this planet right now. Yeah, what else is going to nourish the crops? She said she has so much work to do and that too many people, we need help right now, and has since done nothing except for try to, I don't know, impeach and remove anybody who voted to question the legitimacy of the previous election. She spends lots of money. She good. Though Bush's security payments made up a third of her roughly $200,000 second quarter campaign expenditures. Not even the full year. Most of that portion of $54,120.92 went to RS&T Security Consulting, my mistake, a New York firm that has 2 addresses in Manhattan and a website under construction. The sole local recipient, Nathaniel Davis, whose address is the same as Bush's campaign committee, received 3 payments totaling $15,000. Wow, you're telling me a socialist is corrupt? I hardly fucking believe it. AOC has spent less on security and kept some of that spending local, just like Cori Bush. And perhaps she regrets that, especially in January where she was almost literally killed at the insurrection. I bet you guys remember that as well. Oh, the $4,000 she spent during 2021's second quarter represented a big drop from more than $45,000 in the first quarter. Oh, that's where all that money went. Okay, that makes sense. Though she represents part of the Bronx and Queens, about $35,000 of AOC's local spending in the first quarter went to firms with a Brooklyn address. Oh boy, including 3 payments of $3,000 to Cess the Bon Collective and 2 payments totaling about $25,000 to Three Bridges LLC. I'm going to take a guess that these are totally 100% on the level institutions. In February, she also paid a Houston firm $1,552.50, strange, to provide personal security when she visited the city during its hurricane relief efforts. She just hired Sean Penn with his shotgun and his paddle boat, and it would have been far cheaper, I'd imagine. Could have paid with exposure. Like RS&T, the firm used by Bush, neither Cess the Bon nor Three Bridges provide much online information about their businesses. Oh, darn wrong again. But Tullis Worldwide Protection, the Virginia firm that AOC paid about $4,000 in January, touts the experience of its CEO, Devin Tullis, including stints with private military contractor Blackwater, who I'm sure AOC has had some spicy takes on recently, or at least during her public life tenure when she's been informed that Blackwater isn't in fact a different flavor of vitamin water, whose employees were accused of committing war crimes in Iraq. Oh, who hasn't done that? Questioned about his work for AOC, Tullis said little, but noted that he is not hiring social workers. Interesting. The squad's preferred option to replace police. Oh, and then just a little blurb about Presley and Omar. Presley spent more than $4,000 in the first quarter and $3,500 in the second. Some of her spending was local. She employed a Virginia company in January and a Washington, D.C. firm in March. That at least makes a little bit more sense, but wouldn't you think that she'd be wanting to travel up to Massachusetts where she's actually representing? No, that's fine. Just keep it all within house. Omar also reduced her security bills in the second quarter from slightly over $3,000 to $2,800. Big difference. All spent locally in St. Paul and nearby Ramsey, Minnesota. Okay, so at least she was doing some, I don't know, must have been attending some speed dating. I'm sorry, a family reunion or two. At least the chutzpah competition. The Bowman has outdone the other squad members after being elected in 2020. He wasted no time voicing support for the George Floyd Act. I don't care what's your numbers, pal. Calling it merely a floor, not a ceiling, in the battle for police reform. Bowman, who has called cops agents of white supremacy, sure, represents a portion of the Bronx and Westchester County. Of course he does. Where, upon his request to the Yonkers Police Department, the county's largest, is providing extra protection to the single-family home he shares with his wife and children. Calling for the abolition of police, but then at the same time using the police. That is... How could you possibly describe that any better? Keith Olson, Yonkers Police Benevolent Association president, summarized hypocrisy when he noted not long ago the congressman called for the drastically less policing in the most violent, crime-ridden neighborhoods, asking these same police officers to protect your family while creating policies that make communities of color less safe is simply disgraceful. Yeah, not to even mention the fact that all of these squadites, whatever you want to call them, squatters, they all represent overwhelmingly minority districts, and who is directly affected by a lack of policing, and who overwhelmingly appreciates an increased or at least the same level of policing in their communities. You could look up the numbers, but I will save you the trip. It's minority communities overwhelmingly. That's just between you and me. Not trying to do a creepy Joe Biden thing. But bruh, if you want to just take a look at the hypocrisy of AOC at the Met Gala last night, that's fine. Just take a look at the actual numbers, okay? The policies that these people put forward. And then just how they don't adhere and they don't want to live the life that they promote for everybody else. That should really just tell you enough. That should tell you all you need to know. And the best thing we can do with people like this is just ridicule the shit out of them. Call them out for being the dopes they are, and don't let them get away with it, okay? And one of the best people to ever do it was Norm Macdonald. He took absolutely no prisoners, and to see him die at 61 after a long private battle with cancer, that just totally sucks. I can't say I was a big fan of Norm. Like, everybody that I liked respected Norm, okay, in the comedy sphere, okay? They were all in the same group of people. I just never watched, I never listened to. I wasn't an SNL guy growing up. I'm aware of Dirty Work, didn't watch it, but then at the same time I have a great respect with the small amount of time that I've been aware of him. I think he was great at what he did, and then to pass away at 61 is just a real shame, because he's one of the last great ones that are out there when it comes to comedians. Norm Macdonald, the deadpan stand-up comic and beloved Saturday Night Live star from 93 to 98, has died after a private 9-year battle with cancer. Wow. He was 61. Nobody knew. The former Weekend Update anchor, passing was confirmed by the Post by his manager Mark Gerbitz of Brillstein Entertainment. The Quebec City native friend Lori Jo Hoekstra, who was with Macdonald when he died, said the performer fought cancer hard, but was determined to keep his struggle away from his family, friends, and fans. I have the utmost respect for him for doing that. Not trying to be like AOC and, oh, it's so hard being a woman of color and in the intersectional blah, 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 blah. This dude was fighting cancer, and he didn't make it front and center. And he was still as active as he could be. Biggest props available. Who's most proud of his comedy, Hoekstra, who was also a longtime producing friend, told Deadline in a statement he never wanted the diagnosis to affect him in the way of his audience or have any of his loved ones saw him. Norm was a pure comic. He once wrote that a joke should catch somebody by surprise. It should never pander. He certainly never pandered. Norm will be terribly missed. Very much so. Very much so. If you guys want a good laugh from Norm Macdonald, he had a very short-lived podcast. It was only about, maybe it touched an hour in length. It's relatively recent stuff. It is overwhelmingly funny. Just go and watch some of his old interviews as well. Like, the dude was funny, whether he was on stage, whether he was behind the desk at Weekend Update, or if he was just talking with the guys. An absolute legend, and he will be totally missed. Sorry to end on a downer, but I got nowhere else to put this today. It's just important to bring up. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.